The U.S. is inching closer to a constitutional crisis. That's where we're starting the 7 from the Washington Post. I'm Hannah Jewell. It's Wednesday, April 16th. Let's get you caught up with today's 7 stories. The legal fight over a wrongly deported man escalated yesterday. A federal judge said the Justice Department must provide details of its attempts to return Kilmar Abrego García. Abrego García is a Maryland resident who was deported mistakenly and illegally to a notorious prison in El Salvador. His case has spurred a showdown between the federal judiciary and the Trump administration. Trump officials say that the judge lacks the authority to force them to coordinate with the Salvadoran government to bring Abrego García home. Both President Donald Trump and El Salvador's president have claimed that they don't have the authority to return him. And the White House has called Abrego García, without evidence, a foreign terrorist with gang connections. Here's White House Press Secretary Karoline Leavitt.
There is never going to be a world in which this is an individual who's going to live a peaceful life in Maryland because he is a foreign terrorist and a MS-13 gang member.
Again, those claims are unsubstantiated. Yesterday, Abrego García's wife, Jennifer Vasquez Sura, implored the government to return her husband.
Enough is enough. My family can't be robbed from another day without seeing Kilmar. This administration has already taken so much from my children's, from Kilmar's mother, brother, sisters, and me.
The Supreme Court has largely backed the lower judge's order, but the Trump administration has continued to defy it. The standoff is sending the U.S. toward a constitutional crisis. That means a breakdown in the system of checks and balances established by the Constitution between the different branches of government. For more on this story, check out the latest episode of Post Reports. Find it wherever you listen to podcasts. The U.S. dollar has lost almost 10% of its value since Inauguration Day. That's number 2. The dollar is now at a 3-year low against the euro. That's bad news for Americans traveling abroad, and it could aggravate rising prices by making foreign goods more expensive for importers and consumers. More than half of the recent drop in the dollar's value occurred this month, after President Trump decided to dramatically increase taxes on imported goods. The drop is especially striking because countries that impose tariffs usually see their currencies rise. But tariff concerns last week sent investors fleeing from the dollar and from U.S. government securities. Those are historically seen as a safe haven during financial crises. Meanwhile, Trump's trade war with China shows no sign of slowing down. In our newsletter today, we have a list of products from China that are set to get more expensive for Americans. As usual, just follow the link in our show notes. Number 3. Joe Biden delivered his first public speech since leaving the White House. The former president had, until yesterday, been following the tradition in which presidents avoid criticizing their successors. But last night, he broke his silence. Biden slammed Trump's handling of Social Security. He said sweeping cuts to the program's staffing have left Americans uncertain about whether they will receive their payments.
They've taken a hatchet to the Social Security Administration, pushing an additional 7,000 employees, 7,000 out the door in that time, including the most seasoned career officials. Now they're getting ready to push thousands more out the door.
Since losing thousands of employees, Social Security has faced website outages, technical glitches, unanswered phone lines, and attempts to access private data. Democrats have seized on those struggles to argue that Trump is pursuing a chaotic agenda at the expense of ordinary Americans. Number 4. Fewer Americans crossed state lines for abortions last year. An abortion rights research group published a new report yesterday. It showed that about 155,000 people crossed state lines in 2024 for abortions. That's a 9% decrease from 2023. It comes as some states have taken steps to outlaw travel across state lines to get abortions. But despite the drop in travel, the overall number of abortions remained steady. One reason is the rise in abortion telehealth services. Doctors in states where abortion is legal can mail abortion pills to states where it is not. And some states have shield laws. Those are designed to protect providers from prosecution in states with abortion bans. The planet may have reached a worrying climate tipping point. That's our fifth story. New data on planet warming emissions was released yesterday. It showed that the amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere last year grew at the fastest rate in recorded history. The jump is 27% larger than the previous record increase back in 2015. What makes the increase even more troubling is that it can't all be attributed to humans burning more fossil fuels. Last year's spike may have been driven by a different force: the deterioration of rainforests and other land ecosystems. That may indicate that Earth's ecosystems are so stressed by warming that they can no longer absorb much of the pollution that humanity emits. Number 6. A homemade levee saved a house from a massive flood. Tucker Humphrey and his brother Justin are farmers in western Tennessee. Earlier this month, major flooding hit their community. But aerial footage during the flooding showed a remarkable sight. The Humphrey home stood dry and untouched in the middle of a sea of brown floodwater. The brothers had used an excavator to build a levee around the property that reached 9 feet high in some places. Their family has always built levees when floods threatened the home. The technique was perfected over the decades by the brothers' father, who died a few years ago. The images of this house are pretty amazing, so make sure you check them out in today's newsletter. And at number 7, a mysterious deep-sea creature was captured on video. Last month, scientists in the South Atlantic Ocean caught a glimpse of a magnificent sight, and they got it on video. A strange, mostly translucent creature with 8 orange arms and 2 long tentacles drifted through the inky waters. At nearly 2,000 feet below the surface of the sea, it emanated self-made light. Yesterday, scientists confirmed it was a colossal squid. Those are different from giant squids. These elusive creatures can grow to weigh more than 1,000 pounds with eyes the size of soccer balls. This one was a lot smaller, just a juvenile. Scientists think they may have filmed a colossal squid in the deep ocean before, but they weren't sure. This time, they are. So make sure you check out the video in our newsletter today. It's a little bit spooky. All right, you're all caught up. I've been imploring you all episode long to go and look at our newsletter. So here's how to do it. If you're listening on the Posts app or website, congratulations, you're already looking at our newsletter. If you're listening on a podcast app, though, mosey on over to our show notes and you'll find a link to the newsletter there. Then sign up for the 7 Morning Briefing, and the free newsletter will be delivered to your inbox early every weekday morning. It's full of links to all the stories I talk about here on the podcast, plus today it has a very interesting squid. I'm Hannah Jewell. I'll meet you back here tomorrow.
I'm Robin Gavon, and I'm the senior critic at large for The Washington Post. I write about politics and race and the arts. You know, there's so much information and misinformation coming at people. And for me, a critic's job is to really cut through that and attempt to direct people towards what is of value. Subscribers are definitely the most engaged, And they're the ones that I feel like I'm most often having a conversation with, people who are really engaged in our culture and engaged in civic life in a way that can be really transformative. When you subscribe to The Washington Post, you support this kind of journalism. Learn more at subscribe.washingtonpost.com. I'm Robin Gavon, and I'm one of the people behind the Post.